everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Scopes from the 7th to the 13th of July. Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Weekly Scopes. If you've heard this before, you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellation Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs and the Western signs shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so as normal, I'm going to talk about the main aspects that are flavouring this week. So the first aspect that we've got Mercury making a parallel to Uranus, and we've got Mercury making a parallel to Mars as well. So this just basically means that Mars and Uranus and Mercury are all on the same side of the atmosphere in the sky right now, okay? And then we've got Jupiter making a sextile to the Moon's North Node. So Mercury's parallel to Uranus leaves us on the 12th of July. It is at 2:38 PM on the 8th of July. Jupiter's sextile to the Moon's North Node happens when Jupiter is in the constellation of Taurus and the Moon's North Node is in Pisces. And this is exact on the 9th of July and leaves us on the 14th of July at 6:50 a.m. And Mercury's parallel to Mars is exact at 1:13 a.m. on the 11th of July and leaves us on the 13th of July at 7:27 p.m. So Mercury's parallel to Uranus brings intensified focus to our communication and us being innovative in our problem solving abilities and seeking experiences that are new to us and stuff like that. And there can also be a lot of unexpected changes this week that come up in our plans. So Mercury's parallel to Uranus can bring about breakthroughs and sudden insights, and allows us to be more flexible in our actions and our responses and the way that we think as well. And it's really good energy to work on projects related to creativity, technology and science as well. And it allows us to think outside of the box and have unconventional thoughts and ideas and experiences and be open to them. And although it can bring disruptions in our communication and technology can malfunction as well, and our thinking can become erratic if we don't manage it effectively, this energy can really push us outside of our comfort zone and keep us on our toes this week. Jupiter's sextile to the Moon's North Node brings sort of like a harmonious sort of like energy that allows us to focus on personal growth or career development, spiritual evolution, and just the development of a deeper understanding of our life path or whatever it is we're working on. So for some of you it may be a work issue that you've been failing to understand, or educational issue, you know, you're a student, you've been trying to take in some complex or some information and you've been finding it a struggle, but you may take it in more easily with this energy this week. We can find ourselves drawn towards activities that increase our connection with the higher realms of consciousness and lead to profound insights and a sense of purpose. So we can just be more compassionate, creative and use intuitive wisdom that can open doors to fulfilling experiences that align with our soul's journey right now. And it's just a nice energy to use to explore new things and to, you know, connect with others in our relationships on a deeper level, maybe doing spiritual things together, going for a walk, cooking dinner, you know, gaming, whatever it is that floats, you know, you and your company's boat, doing stuff that just helps you sort of like feel that one in the relationship. Or for some of you, you know, you'll be focusing on aligning your intentions and your actions with the flow of the universe and, you know, doing all you can to improve your life on the psychological, emotional and spiritual levels. Mercury's parallel to Mars brings us the motivation we need this week to overcome obstacles. It allows us to be more assertive in communication and more mentally aware and alert, and it just allows us to be effective in our decision making, be more eloquent in our expressing the way we say and do things. Just may just have a sort of swagger to it, and people may comment on it, or you just may just feel more confident, you know, because you just feel more mentally alert. This week you sharpen your thinking and your communication responses, and this can be really good to get you out of tricky conversations in the workplace or anywhere else this week as well. And Mercury, you know, in astrology governs communication, and Mars represents action, and it controls all of our drives, our exercise drives, our sexual drives, you know, motivation to do things. So we may just have more passion and conviction this week. We can just feel inspired to assert our boundaries more, stand up for what we believe in, but we just need to make sure we respect other people's boundaries as well, because we can be impatient and moody, and this can lead to us being sharp-tongued and action, doing things that we say and regret later, that sort of thing, you know. So it's important to channel this motivation, this excess energy that you may feel constructively, so putting it into, you know, maybe you know, sort of like debates that are boundaried, or doing intellectual activities or starting things or continuing things that you've been putting off, and just tackling things that require mental flexibility, and doing this can lead to the most successful outcomes this week. So just focus on clear, direct communication and all that relationships this week, and just try and do all you can to be effective in your problem solving and being open to alternative ways of looking at things and doing things this week. So on the 7th of July, Venus enters Cancer. Venus also makes a semi-square to Jupiter, and Mercury makes a quintile to Uranus. So when Venus is in Cancer, it brings a focus on nurturing our relationships and emotional connections, and it encourages us to express love and affection in a caring and empathetic way, and we may find ourselves more tuned to our emotions and those of others, and this can lead to deepening connections with our loved ones. Positively, Venus in Cancer can create a sense of loyalty and commitment in our relationships, as it increases our harmony and emotional security within our families and romantic partnerships, and it also promotes us being more creative and expressing our feelings and just creating a supportive environment for ourselves and others in all that we're doing right now. But negatively, it can add to the emotional moodiness of this week, and because we can have inner conflict and emotional psychological issues can rise to the surface of our attention. This can show up as us being moody, losing our temper, and us being clingy in our relationships. But we can just feel more sensitive, and this is good. But the vulnerability may lead to over-dependence on others for validation. So feel vulnerable, be sensitive, give others empathy, but just make sure you're not depending on external sources, or other people are not depending on you for things that should be given to themselves. We can give affection to our loved ones and our friends and stuff, but there comes a point when we have to realise that certain things they can only get from within themselves, and there's only certain things we can get from within ourselves as well. So Venus also makes a semi-square to Jupiter as it goes into Cancer as well today. So this allows us to focus on our relationships, but it can bring tension between our need for love and our need for growth and seeing new things, and the need to stay in our comfort zone as well. So we can feel a conflict between our desire to grow and the need for stability in our finances and relationships right now. So we may find ourselves struggling to balance our need to indulge and want to do things to just make ourselves feel better, whether it be getting a takeaway, going on a night out, buying your favourite game, or any other project or service that makes you feel happy. And we have to try and be moderate and not spend the rent money or money that we need for other things on things that are just indulging ourselves, even though we can find it pleasurable. And Venus energy wants us to be more sensual and all the rest of it, but try and think of ways that you can do it in a way that's not going to put you in debt emotionally or financially or psychologically or spiritually. So positively, Venus's semi-square to Jupiter allows us to expand our horizons in love. So think outside of the box for date night, or think if you are single or self-partnered, maybe I want to add someone in my life, and focus on bringing more stability into your finances as well, and your inner sense of self and values. And it just allows us to take more calculated risks and explore new opportunities for growth and abundance. And Mercury's quintile to Uranus allows us to be, and supports us with our creativity and being original in our thinking over the next few days. And it may, for some of you, give you flashes of inspiration, aha, light bulb moments where you get a breakthrough in the problem you're trying to solve, or you get an idea that can help you, with financially or spiritually, or with your career or something like that as well. So it just supports us in thinking outside of the box and embracing changes in how we process information and express ourselves. So on the 8th of July, Venus Venus makes a sextile to Uranus. Mercury makes a parallel to Uranus as well, which I talked about at the beginning of this week, which is exact at 2:39 p.m. Mercury makes a sextile to Jupiter. Mercury also makes a trine to the moon's north node, and the moon also enters void of course. So Venus's sextile to Uranus adds a sense of excitement and spontaneous happenings to our relationships and finances. It encourages us to embrace change and seek out new experiences. So for example, some of us may feel inclined to try a new hobby or invest in a unique business opportunity that leads to unexpected gains. Mercury sextile to Jupiter helps us to think outside of our comfort zone, so it's an ideal energy to use for learning, teaching, sharing ideas, and it just brings encounters with other people or opportunities for you to go out and research and find knowledge that can help you broaden your beliefs and perspectives. So some of you may receive recognition for well-researched work right now, or you may connect with someone who offers you valuable insights for your personal growths. Mercury makes a trine to the moon's north node, and this just allows us to have clearer thinking, especially in our decision making and doing things and making decisions that are in line with our highest potential and goals and what we really want out of our lives. It supports us with self-reflection and planning for our future goals that resonate with our purpose and destiny and our authentic selves, and it just encourages us to listen to our own inner wisdom or remove the blocks that stop us from listening and understanding our intuition. And it just wants us to take time out, use our intuition when making important choices at this time over the next week, and just allowing yourself to be open to new possibilities. On the 9th of July, the moon enters Leo, and also the moon enters its crescent moon phase, and Jupiter also makes its exact sextile to the moon's north node. So when the moon's in Leo, it brings us more confidence, creativity and passion. We can feel more inspired to express ourselves more courageously and seek recognition for our talent. So it's good for pitching yourself, your ideas, putting yourself out there, engaging in activities that allow self-expression and show off your talents, So it's good for performing arts, public speaking, all forms of communication and communication projects. It can empower us to embrace our uniqueness and shine in social settings, and gives us the energy to do so. And we may just take more risks, especially when it comes to attaining our personal goals and going after what we really want right now. So someone who, say, is a musician may feel inspired to perform on stage with more charisma. But negatively, when the moon's in Leo, we can be overly dramatic and seek attention, and this can lead to conflicts and misunderstandings in relationships. So it's essential to balance the need for self-expression with sensitivity towards others' feelings right now. And also the moon, as I said earlier, enters its crescent moon phase today on the 9th, so this allows for us to lay the groundwork for future growth or continue the groundwork that we've already been laying, setting intentions, refining our intentions, reassessing the plans that we've made, and whether we need to improve our plans or whether we need to change certain habits or spend less time doing things that waste our energy so we can reach our goals. Just thinking about the thoughts and actions that we need to take or continue to take to achieve your long-term goals. Make decisions that support your vision, and combined the moon in Leo and the crescent moon just allows us to do things that align with our passions and unique talents, and we just have to remember to channel this enthusiasm that these aspects bring us wisely and in a balanced way, and just ensure that our actions are considerate of others' feelings. but also not being afraid to actually take the actions this week that will allow us to go after what we really want. So on the 10th of July nothing happens. On the 11th of July, Mercury makes a biquintile to Saturn, a parallel to Mars, and the Sun makes a trine to Saturn. Mars makes a semi-sextile to Chiron. The Moon enters void of course at 1:52 p.m. and then the Moon enters Virgo at 3:20 p.m. Venus also makes a trine to Neptune, and Venus makes its exact parallel to Jupiter at 5:38, and I talked about that earlier this week. So Mercury's biquintile to Saturn, nice sort of energy that can just help us with our communication skills and bring structure and discipline to our communication and decision making and strategic thinking processes, helps us with making long-term plans. But negatively, us overthinking or being too inflexible in our thought and action can get in the way of our flexibility and open-mindedness. The best use of this energy is to focus on discussion, do deep research and organise your thoughts for a project or presentation. The Sun's trine to Saturn brings us a sense of responsibility and self-discipline, helps us to overcome our obstacles so we can, achieve the things we want to, and set long-term goals and work slowly and steadily this week towards reaching our goals. Negatively, it adds to us being limited in our thinking, and this can get in the way of us being creative and spontaneous and being open-minded, because we can be too inflexible and cautious right now. But the best use of this energy is to use it towards advancing on our goals, whether it be in our professional or personal life, and just do things that help us gain recognition for our hard work, or do the things that require hard work that we've been putting off, which we know in the long run will bring us a sense of satisfaction. And for instance, those who are creative can use this transit to create a detailed plan for a new project, and just how they're going to work steadily towards the completion of that project, and allowing for delays and the time. If you think something's going to take you a year, then add another year onto it. You may complete it in that year, you may need to complete it in that year, but always plan for delays and failures. And failures just mean that you just need to rethink your strategy for success. And astrology shows that weekly transits support us in the different things that we need to do. Also, Mars makes a semi-sextile to Chiron, so this just allows us to be courageous and be like, okay, we may have limitations, we may have past wounds and psychological and emotional and spiritual traumas that we run away from or find it hard to understand and get over, but this energy gives us the power to confront whatever needs confronting right now and take assertive steps towards self-improvement and emotional healing. But negatively, it can add to the impulsiveness and impatience of this week, which can add to the confrontations and inner conflict, and this can cause more harm than good. If we rush the healing process, or if we argue with others or waste energy trying to do everything all at once, take your time. Consistency is the goal. Like I've proven to myself time and time again, I can do the bursts of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months on the go, but right now I'm working on the consistency, and that's once we get to master consistency, then we can master ourselves. When we can master doing something day in, day out, this is why diets and things can fail, because we cut off all our food that we enjoy, but we still we have the goal of one day, like in 2 weeks or 3 months, I can eat it all again. So we can diet for those 2 months of that 1 week on that crash diet, but then when we start eating that food again, so what we need to do is actually try and build more healthier lifestyle eating choices into our day-to-day life and make it a lifestyle change rather than a diet, rather than a short-term thing. Make it a long-term thing. This is why I say healing and learning to understand and forgive and manage our psychological and emotional and spiritual trauma is a lifelong thing, because it just doesn't come overnight, and it's a process, and it's definitely a journey journey, it's not a destination. So the best use of Mars' semi-sextile to Chiron is just to use it to do things, physical activities, spiritual, psychological, emotional ones that promote your healing and understanding, seeking therapy, or dedicating yourself to researching podcasts or self-help tools that can help you on your journey of personal development. So yeah, and just use it to, as I said, address those deep-seated problems that you run from, that you escape from, into your self-destructive behaviours. And if you're addicted to any intoxicating substances and all of that, and this is not to shame you or anything, but all humans have their addictions and vices, it's about being honest with yourself and making a plan. Even if you've tried recovery 100 times before, keep making a plan to keep on going on your recovery. I failed many times, but it's the keeping going that has saved me eventually, so just taking time out to just finding tools and strategies that can help you manage your stress and emotional and spiritual and psychological wounds and any other issues you have with your physical, mental and spiritual health more effectively and in healthy ways, being the operative word, healthy, because we can all find toxic ways to manage our problems. So the moon in Virgo and Venus is trying to Neptune allows us to be more emotionally sensitive and increase our intuition, and the moon in Virgo brings the grounding that we need to sort of go within ourselves and be open to finding practical and healthy solutions to our problems, helps us with feeling more tuned to our emotions and other people's needs at this time as well, and brings more understanding into our relationships. But negatively, it can add to us being overly emotional and idealistic and vulnerable, and this can add to the misunderstandings and unrealistic expectations in our relationships. So the best use of this energy is to do things that bring us clarity, be of service to others, nurture yourself or others, and explore creativity, or use creativity to explore or understand your emotions right now as well. And it just helps us to express love and compassion freely for ourselves and others, and this can just help us repair any problems in our relationships and just brings a sense of unity and feeling at one with ourselves and others at this time. So it's just good energy that helps us to do things that nurture our relationships and our soul or our higher needs right now. But we just need to watch out for being too idealistic and being overly vulnerable in the wrong spaces and with the wrong people who may take advantage of you, or setting unrealistic expectations of yourself and others that can lead you astray. Do not ignore red flags and just be open to understanding yourself and being gentle with yourself as you navigate this energy. On the 12th of July, Mercury makes a sesquiquadrate to Neptune. Mars enters Taurus, and I've done a whole special about this, so if you want to know more, check it out. Venus also makes an opposition to Pluto, and the moon's north node goes direct. So Mercury's sesquiquadrate to Neptune allows us and supports us to be creative and explore ourselves on the spiritual levels, but it also can add to the misunderstandings that can come up this week. Mars in Taurus brings us stability over the next 5 to 6 weeks. Mars is in Taurus, so this is really good. It gives us the energy we need to get up after each fall, overcome obstacles, and to keep on going until when we reach our goal. So we can expect a time when our actions are more deliberate and focused on practical matters. It allows us to be more productive and stay grounded while going after our goals and focus on reaching our goals. But negatively, we can be more stubborn and resist change. So for example, some of us may feel more determined to follow through with our long-term projects, but that we can also feel kind of deflated and pessimistic about doing it, and then this can get in the way of our focus, and we just may feel like, I can never ever do the things that I need to do. Venus's opposition to Pluto again adds to the intensity we can feel on the emotional level right now in our relationships and in our financial matters. It can help us in that anything that comes to our attention right now or happens in our relationship can be bringing hidden issues or issues we run from to the surface that we need to heal so that we can overcome them. But it can add to the power struggles and manipulative behaviour of this week and trigger, us being jealous and envious of others and us ignoring red flags because we just don't want to face reality right now. So, there's an opposition between our values and the way we want to give and receive love right now, and our need to transform in the areas we need to change in. The Moon's North Node going stationary direct just allows us to and supports us to listen to our inner calling and pay attention to the details and synchronicities and coincidences right now that can give us insight into how we can reach our goals and how we can find more inner happiness, and it can just support us in just being true to ourselves right now. On the 13th of July, Mars makes a semi-square to the Moon's North Node. The Moon's North Node goes retrograde. The Moon enters void of course, and the Moon also enters its first quarter moon phase. So at this time, our assertive energy, our motivation, drive, our need to win can clash with our emotional and karmic lessons that the North Node is trying to bring us right now. So positively, it can help us to feel motivated on, doing the things that make us feel happy and meet our responsibilities right now and confront obstacles with courage and more determination rather than running away from them. But it also adds to the impulsive behaviour and the conflicts that can come up due to us being lacking emotional sensitivity right now, or being moody and just being too assertive and ignoring other people's boundaries. So we need to find a balance between being assertive and having empathy for others, and just trying to respect other people's boundaries and asserting our boundaries and letting other people know if they overstep the mark, but also having empathy and forgiveness for those that do overstep or do other things to hurt us right now, because we're all are only human right now. And just also having the grace to apologise if we overstep other people's boundaries as well. The Moon's North Node going retrograde again just supports us to focus on past karma and looking at our past actions and how we can improve our communication and how we express our emotions so we can live a more fulfilling life. The Moon's void of course can just allow us to have time out. Having this time out can allow us to have new sort of ideas and how we can solve our problems as well. And the Moon's first quarter allows us to grow by bringing challenges, but it allows us to take action and address obstacles and move closer towards our goals with more determination and resilience. So that's the end of the weekly scope from the 7th to the 13th of July. Take care and see you next time.